to express that truth, be able to show up as our most authentic selves, even in a world that isn't moving that way. Hi, my friends. Perspective here. I'm going to talk about how, like, with embodiment, and that's why varying degrees are such a thing, because you're not gonna start out at your destination. It's a journey. You're always going to keep going on this journey and finding new things out, and just within the varying degrees. So what worked for me, and we're all different people, again, I'm just sharing my POV, however it lands for you, whatever you can take as your own 2 cents. But what worked for me was starting out gradually. And it's interesting because when we think about the varying degrees and how these are polar ends and extremes, I like to think that extremes are never where it's at, because if you're at an extreme, there is a higher tendency for the pendulum to swing back to the other extreme, right? In my experience, extremes are never the way to go. Extremes are very, it just means that something else is suffering. It means that something else is overcompensating. Something has to give. So once there's an extreme, there is that other end, right? And like I said, it's always going to swing back to the other end. So once it swings back, you experience the thing that was overcompensating. And that's where we talk about extremes meeting, the idea that there is a point where extremes meet, and that's that sweet spot. That's that midpoint for you, because you're neither here nor there. You're somewhere in the. And when I also think of extremes meeting, I think of paradoxes, that something can be this and that at the same time, that something can be beautiful but still so painful, that it can be pain but then there's purpose in the pain, that the beginning is yet again another end, that it's just two sides of the same coin, that it's same difference, all these things. When I think of paradoxes, I think of extremes meeting, I think of contrast, that you're able to experience one extreme and the other extreme at such a close point in time, that you see the contrast across, and that gives you room for expansion. You know that this and this are existing at the same time, or not at the same time, maybe, it just depends, but this and this are coexisting, and it's really varying degrees of the same thing. So I love a good paradox, and I love playing with extremes. And yeah, I think it's so interesting, and it really does help us explore true expansion as we evolve. Where extremes meet point us in the direction of contrast, and contrast really does put two extremes side by side, either close points in time, etc, etc. So when we experience this contrast, we're able to see the sides of A that we were overlooking prior, see the sides of A that we're overcompensating just so that B exists. Because we're met with extremes, we see the extreme gap, the huge contrast, and we're able to side by side experience both the advantages of and the disadvantages of each side. Because again, like everything else, there's always a positive and a negative way to look at it. Sometimes we're just so engrossed in the beauty of what we want that we forget that they also come with their own pains, in quote. Sometimes we are so focused on what we want as this beneficial thing, and we forget what we have that already is beneficial to us. And so it's almost like we're letting go of what we currently have. So grip we grab onto what we don't have, but as we're letting go of what we already have, we're also letting go of the positive side of what we already have. And then when we grab onto this new thing that we want, we're grabbing the benefit, but we're also grabbing the negative that comes with the positive that we let go of. The Ultimatum show on Netflix pretty much describes this whole thing nicely. In that show, the premise is all of the contestants bring their prior partners. At this point, they're letting them know, okay, if you're not ready to marry me, then let's keep it pushing. So they come to the show and they have like these other contestants. Basically, these are possible partners. So the idea is, since the prior partner did not want to marry them on the show, if their partner is still willing to be with them throughout the entirety of the show, then that's great. If not, they find other people and they're able to sync with these other people. I get the description wrong, correct me if I'm wrong in your head, but for the most part, the people that come on the show come with the idea that, oh, there's something that their partner is not giving them, and they hope to find in this next person that they're going or gravitating towards on the show. The idea is, at the end of the day, they would find this perfect love story for them and they would get married and live happily ever after. Now, what I find frequently occurring in this show is people are coming and at the back of their mind, they have this list of what their partner wasn't doing in their relationship, the things that weren't going well. And the goal is to find someone who ticks off those boxes. Now, why this is skewed for me is whoever they were dating at first created an anchor for them to now go outside and look for. The very thing that they weren't getting in that person is the very thing that they want to go find outside. And then they have the perfect person. But they forget they are operating from one end of polarity. They are forgetting that their partner had certain things that they were bringing to the table, had certain things that they were doing for them that was so beneficial to the relationship, to this other person. They found so much value in these things that they were doing. But they got carried away, they normalized those things, and that became the standard for them. Now all they want, the size that their partner wasn't fulfilling and that this person can fulfill. Now, on that other flip side, which is going to go find a new person, okay, let's assume the person can actually provide all of these things that your partner was unable to provide. How about the things that your partner was providing? You let go of that as you let go of the things that your partner could not provide. And as you're moving towards this show and gravitating towards this person that has all these things that your partner was unable to provide, the thing that your partner was able to provide, you don't have it on your list because that's not what your focus is on. Because that doesn't even exist to you anymore. And so you're just going there and you're like, yeah, all these things that he has been doing, I need to find somebody that is not doing them. And you will find that. And when you find that, you would also find that all the things that he was doing, they're not doing them. And you would also realize that there are things that this other person does outside of the things that you want on your list, which are the good things for you now. Your idea of good is what your prior partner could not provide, that this new partner will provide, and that's good for you. But how about the negative things that this other person also does that you're not aware of, that it's not even in your peripheral? It's not in focus at all. You have no recollection of that. That doesn't even exist to you. It doesn't exist to you. You are not focusing on those other things until you get to that bridge and you realize that this person B on this show that you're finding that has all these qualities that your partner did not have also has all these other qualities that you are not paying attention to because you're so focused on paying attention to the ones that your partner doesn't have. All in all, we're met with an opportunity where contrast helps us see the positive sides of both things. even negative if we want to focus on that. But as we see that both things are advantageous, because once we let go of the former thing, we see what we were missing out on the former thing. Next time, we're able to hold more space for everything that exists, knowing that even the things we're overlooking have their benefits. My key takeaway was, wow, this is us. This is a lot of people. It's not even on a relationship level, right? That's just one use case. Think about how we gravitate towards certain things that we want in life, and how we're so focused on the positive side of all the goals and dreams we want to acquire. We forget that to hold those dreams and goals, we also have to experience the flip side, and that's what builds the capacity. We talk about heavy is the head that wears the crown, because just as much as you have this beautiful shiny crown with so much jewels on your head, you also have to go through the pain, the stress, the resilience that comes with wearing the crown. And what creates that resilience, what creates the ability to still show up regardless of what's going on? It's expansion, it's capacity. The more you have the capacity to hold many truths, to know that yes, things don't look great, but you can focus on what is going well. You can change your thoughts from focusing on, oh, this person is not doing this, that. How about the things the person is doing? Have you shown gratitude for that? Do you have gratitude for that? Because at the end of the day, the more gratitude you have, the more you keep seeing what already exists. Because it was never about the thing in itself. It was always about how you... For me, being able to ease into it, right, and starting out